Nope. I'm gonna tell you why they don't exist already, man.
Okay.
I don't agree with you already.
Okay.
I'm gonna get to your point, but I don't think they exist.
You didn't even allow me to make my point, but go ahead.
Know. If I'm on LinkedIn, why am I looking at an entry level role that says I need CISSP?
You're right, 100%. I see it in HR or whoever is writing that job. That job rec is totally uninformed.
What up, Tech fam? It's JohnnieTech, and I'm here with my guy.
What up, Tech? What up?
Let's go. And this is JustMyTechCents, where we talk tech, finance, and a little bit of lifestyle. Clap it up. Clap it up.
Round of applause for discipline. We're here in the building.
Yep.
Another day, another dollar.
Say motivation beats discipline, right?
No, I think it's discipline beats motivation.
No, I go with the motivation. No, I'm just joking. It's always discipline over motivation for sure.
All right.
But I'm feeling motivated today.
Good.
How about yourself?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling fresh.
I think discipline is a good topic to talk about in today's atmosphere because, I'm just saying it right now. You know, I think entry level jobs pretty much don't exist at all, right? Okay. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I think they do.
You think they do?
I think they do, just at a
Nope. I'm gonna tell you why they don't exist already, man.
Okay.
I don't agree with you already.
Okay.
I'm gonna get to your point, but I don't think they exist.
You didn't allow me to make my point, but go ahead.
I don't want to.
Go ahead, Kanye. You got it.
I got the answers today.
You got the stage.
I got the answers.
All right, let's go.
My point is, I feel like the point. First of all, I want to define entry level roles and what people mostly think of, right? So it's zero. Like if you go on LinkedIn, it's gonna say 0 to 3 years experience. So that's entry level. Okay. But most of the time, your 0 years experience, you're not getting in there. And especially if we're talking tech, we're talking, cybersecurity, any IT, like I put them in the same bunch, but people like to separate them, IT, cyber, whatever. Sure. And like a lot of people nowadays are talking about you can just jump into the field and you can do whatever you want, make six figures, all those things.
First, that's right.
Right. I hate to say it, that's just not a true statement. I think the point of entry is a lot higher. So what the old entry level is not the new entry level. So
you said the point of what?
The point of entry.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So it's their entry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I see what you're trying to say, but no, it's not what people really think it is. So you have, like, for cybersecurity, I think what they would call an entry level role is your SOC analyst, maybe threat hunter. Depends. I think that's a little bit, maybe like a tier above. Yeah. Your vulnerability management, your junior pen testers, all those roles, they're going to be listed as entry level. Yep. But if you get an interview, most times you're probably not going to get an interview if your resume doesn't have these years of experience on there. So I think, like, I would like for people to kind of be more honest about that and say, like, these are the actual things that you need to get in these roles, instead of people feeling like, okay, I can just jump into this with either a couple certs or a college degree, because those things are just those things. Like when you get certain certifications and you get your degree, those are just entry level things that you've done. That's going to probably push you into roles that are more like, maybe your sysadmin roles, maybe even help desk. Like, I think those are entry level, but even those are, everything is just becoming a higher point of entry.
Yeah, I think your level of competition is higher because, there are just more people in the market, right? So again, your competition is higher, so that's going to push the threshold up a little bit, right? Right. I think some of the jobs that you talked about, your junior pen testers, your cyber analysts, I think those jobs are still out there. I think there are less of them, but I think those jobs are still out there. I think that, again, internships would meet that 0, right? So we'll say college kids. So anyway, you can get an internship. That's kind of out there, because again, that's free money. It's free for the business kind of. So that's kind of out there. But I think where the entry level has changed is like in junior developers, programmers, anything that AI I think can do. That's where that entry level has been removed as far as junior level. Now it's mid to senior level when it comes to those positions, because if you can have a machine do it, then why not have a machine do it versus a human do it?
I think you kind of 100% agree with that. I think you're proving my point. Is like the threshold is going to be much higher now. So even like if we want to bring AI
for some, I'm not saying for all, right? For some of the positions. So I'm saying that there are entry level positions that are still out there that are still needed. There are GRC junior auditors, right? 0 to 3 years. Like that is still out there. My job was hiring junior auditors recently. Right. So I know that that's out there. It's just less and less. So I'm not saying that, it's plentiful, but I'm not saying that it's zero as well. Okay.
Now that you mentioned it, you said you did some hiring, right?
We did.
Okay. Yeah. So in that standpoint, let's say you have someone, because this has been my experience with different roles and just talking to different people, right? So because we're talking about entry level. So you're saying a junior auditor could potentially be an entry level role, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say you have someone who's been working on the help desk for 3 years, right? So now they do have 3 years of experience within the field, but they may not have the necessary experience to be a junior auditor. And they're like, well, how do I get this necessary experience to be a junior auditor if I had to, the only role I was really able to get was help desk. Yeah. So that's like where I feel like the entry point is a lot higher. And then you still have to have experience. You really have to have some experience to get into some help desk roles, not all, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. So
you did some hiring. I'm saying if someone comes into the role and they're like, this role, they say you need 0 to 3 years experience to be a junior auditor. Okay. It's like, well, I have 3 years experience, but it was on their resume say they were doing help desk. Yeah. Is that experience gonna, as a hiring manager or as a hiring stakeholder, are you gonna be able to hire them with that level of experience?
That's not their path. Right.
That might be the only path they had the opportunity to get into.
They need to find a system admin job. Right. I mean, that's not their path. I mean, it's not like help desk to auditor.
So that's my point. So you're talking about, I look at it as auditor. When you start being like a junior auditor, mm-hmm. I think you're moving more into the cybersecurity realm. That's why I'm saying cybersecurity roles are not entry level at all. Right. Because now
that's not what you said.
So to go, that is what I said.
No, that's not what you said. Go ahead.
But like, so
we're talking about tech holistically. Okay. Right. Yes. Not just cybersecurity. We know that tech is more than just cybersecurity. 100%. Okay.
But even like we can get in. This can get deeper. So basically, let's just go down this path, right? Because like many people think they can get into cybersecurity, fairly easily with what they're hearing today. So right, you did help desk, goes to sysadmin, maybe net admin. So that could be a few years. Okay. All those things is still yours. Now you've been in the field for at least 2, 3, 4 years, maybe. And you still may not be able to get into I think once you get system admin, you can, if you're doing things on your own end, you could probably get into those junior auditor roles. But that's still 4 years of experience that you've had to be doing something to get in that. So that in itself is not entry level.
Yeah. So the junior auditor, right, it is 0 to 3. We have an associate level where you don't have to have any experience. You don't need security plus any kind of certification. You get paid on the low end as far as salary. Right. But your junior, it's 0 to 3. You can get security plus, right, to let us know that you understand the lingo as far as cybersecurity, right, and auditing and all that other stuff. There are some certifications that you won't qualify for, like CISSP, because you have to have 5 years of experience for that. But you can qualify for GSNA, which is a SANS cert, if you have the money for for a SANS cert. There are ways around it. You can study the NIST document, and as you come into an interview, say, look, I don't have experience in this industry yet, but I know that it's based on, NIST 800 TAC 53, 37, whichever framework. And then I've studied this. I know AC controls, I know SI controls, and I can talk you through them. There are things that you can do in the between time that would allow us to see that, one, you're hungry and ambitious about getting after this. I would say we can work with this person, because me as a lead, I just need to make sure that you understand what it is that we're looking for. Now, for me, when I'm looking for a good candidate, I would prefer that they understand and have experience in the industry, because when it comes to asking clients if they have certain controls in place, you're not going to get that from Security Plus, right? You're just not going to understand what it is, the artifacts that you need to see in order to make sure that they meet the controls.
And everything you're saying, I agree with, as far as like, I'm not saying that it's impossible to do, but it's nearly impossible to even speak to someone like you because their resume with what they have done is not going to get them through the system to even get an interview.
Well, that's not true. I mean, we interview people with just Security Plus.
What else did they have? They have experience? So they just
they did. I mean, they had a little experience,
right?
But I mean, again, it wasn't like impressive.
See, that's what I'm saying.
But we still interviewed them.
And what you're saying, it wasn't impressive, but it's still an entry level role.
Yeah, right. It wasn't right, and we still interviewed them. Right, and they still had a shot. At the end of the day, we still gave them a shot and let the best candidate win.
See, and then
let me just real quick. Even for if a senior applied for that, we said, no, this is for a junior candidate.
Okay.
Right. So we said if you are overqualified, then you can't have this position because we have other positions for somebody like that, and two, we need to build up people that are typically younger,
right,
and don't have the experience. So giving them a chance. But you don't see that everywhere.
That's what I was gonna say. Like your company may be doing it right. I like the fact that you guys are doing it, especially like because like the competition level is so high that depending on what the pay is, and people like in cybersecurity in general, I do think the salary is a lot better than some other roles. So even someone who has been working, like, oh, that's good enough for me. And we're not going to talk about job stacking or whatever else people have going on. So
yeah,
that's another thing. But something that you did mention is like you mentioned the certification piece, and you mentioned that certain certifications you had to have a certain amount of experience to get those certs, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm on LinkedIn, why am I looking at an entry level role that says I need CISSP when you need what for
that's that is not that's HR not understanding what a CISSP is,
right?
Again, but they don't. You're right, 100%. I see it in HR or whoever is writing that job rec is totally uninformed.
Right.
They don't understand. You have to have at least 5 years of experience in the industry in order to actually get your CISSP, or you can have your associate, and that's not a concern at that point. Right. But yeah, they're misdirected in what they're looking for, and I see that a lot. If you don't include subject matter experts into people that are writing the job recs, then you're going to say entry level, and you're going to ask for a CISSP and CISA and all these other certs that
degrees too, man.
Right.
Come on, man.
Right.
But so I mean, I don't, and like I just think that's my opinion, and I do think that like there are ways to
yeah, because you sound real doom and gloom.
That's what
I'm gonna need some kind of solution. What you got?
So like the reason why I sound this way, because I would like for the narrative to change, and I'm always speaking to that so people can understand. So like someone who may not have a mentor in general, you don't necessarily always have to have a mentor to understand. Like because you can go online and do the research yourself, but all the research is telling you, okay, this is what entry level job needs, and it's kind of backwards as far as research. But to overcome those things, I basically say like you kind of just gotta know what obstacles are there. You got it. So I would definitely, if you see like they're asking for CISSP in those roles and like those type of certifications, I would say do your best to start like getting them, because the best thing you want to do is pretty much you have to get your foot in the door, right? So whatever they're asking for, if you see they're asking for Security Plus, I would just do those things, right? So like I would definitely do that.
Yeah, your whole CISSP.
I'm not saying get the CISSP in general. I'm saying if you're going online and you're seeing like they're asking for Security Plus, they're asking for CCNA.
Yeah.
Not asking for that too much anymore, but they're asking for those certifications.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have the years of experience for it, I would still study for it and at least get the knowledge down. If you can't even test for it, have the knowledge so you can speak to it. If you do get an opportunity to get an interview, that's more of the lines I was moving towards.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I would say, just to add to that, is I would put that on my resume that I'm pursuing the CISSP. I mean, there are a lot of people that don't even know beginner level that have no clue what the CISSP is,
right?
Unless they've heard it on YouTube or something like that. But if you understand kind of what it is, and for me, if you show me that you have a plan or a roadmap as far as how you're going to get certifications, and you say I'm going to start here at Security Plus, and then a couple years later, my plan is to get CISSP, I at least understand that you understand what it takes in order to get to this end goal.
Right.
Which again, for me, that resonates, especially for a beginner level candidate who may not have the years, but they've looked into it. And I understand that I can see that they've looked into it just based on what they've shown me, via their resume.
Another thing I would speak to is like what you mentioned earlier in hiring. So like, I think the certifications and the degrees help you get your foot in the door for your resume. But when you start speaking to your experience, if you haven't had the opportunity to get the roles, I think YouTube is going to be your best friend. Doing home labs, like I definitely that's the most important thing I think you can do is get home labs. And if you're have opportunity to get those internships. And lastly, if you are depending on what stage you are with your career, or if you're in school still, before you pick your school or your master's program, I would pick a program that has a lot of hands-on work as far as what you want to get into, and also see if they have a pipeline. There's a lot of schools that have connections with certain companies like Home Depot, things like that.
Right.
I would definitely get into a program and see everything they have to offer you. So you might just be able to funnel into their pipeline, and get your foot in the door that way. Yeah.
Okay. What else you got?
That's pretty much it, man. I think that's what you need to do if you want to work.
Okay. Well, so there are a couple of things that I have as well, and I think if anything is trending on YouTube, stay away from it. Right? There are other jobs, there are other positions that are plentiful that have not been taken up by or taken over by AI that nobody really talks about, like learning Linux. If you learn Linux operating system, then it gives you a leg up on a lot of the competition. If you learn network engineering, again, the foundation or the architecture that AI is built on is all these is the network, right? So these data centers, somebody has to run them, somebody has to configure them, somebody has to architect them. But you don't see that talked about on YouTube too much.
Right.
GRC, I mean, that's been a hot thing probably over the last year. But within GRC, there's this framework called the CMMC framework. Look into that, potentially becoming a CCP, a CCA, if you can get audits to qualify for a CCA, or a RP within, again, that CMMC framework. So there are avenues and approaches to actually look at getting a job entry level, because nobody's talking about it and nobody is getting it. And look where the numbers are few. That way you can become, a big fish in a small pond, right?
I would definitely agree with that.
So that is the way that I would actually get into, and I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing now, because I know that AI is coming for all of us, and I'm trying to get ahead of how do I make sure that I am in control of my career, I am in control of AI. And again, I have gone back to the basics. I have gone back to network engineering. I am pursuing my CCNA, my CCNP. Even though I have all these other certifications for cybersecurity, I want to make sure that if that goes away and AI can take that up, then I can pivot into something else. Right. And that'll make me entry level. I do understand it. I've done it before in the past, but it's been a long time. And if you haven't done something for a while, then you start to lose that. So I've gone back into Udemy, and I do this every single night for about 30 minutes is study the network, study server 2022, and make sure I understand the architecture. So those are things that you can do. If I'm doing it and I'm almost 20 years in, you can do it. You have zero.
Will's taking the entry level roles from you guys.
No, I'm just messing. It's survival of the fittest. And at the end of the day, entry level is entry level based on your experience in that field, right? So though I'm not entry level in cybersecurity and GRC and any of that, when it comes to network engineering, I would consider myself, and I would actually get paid entry level money in order to just get my hands on the network.
Right.
So
I understand that. Definitely good points.
But yeah, so what's your opinion on the industry and whether or not entry level jobs still exist? You've heard what Johnny says. He thinks that they ain't there no more. You heard what I said. I think they're still there, and they are. Just do your research. Find the path of least resistance, and you can find an entry level job. This is just our tech sense. So I'm WillDoesTech, my boy
JohnnieTech,
and we will talk to y'all later. Out.